The Galactic Empire had ruled over 1,000 worlds for centuries. Every planet they encountered either surrendered willingly or was forced into submission. It was the natural order lesser civilizations obeyed, and the Empire thrived. So when the Supreme Council sent a formal request to Earth, expecting another easy victory, no one had any doubt about the outcome. The message was simple: join the Empire. Accept our rule. Share in our knowledge and resources. The response, however, was something no one could have predicted. A single word appeared on the holographic screen before the Council and O. At first, the Council thought it was a mistake. A simple planet like Earth refusing the greatest power in the galaxy? Impossible. They sent another message, offering trade, alliances, and protection. The reply remained the same entry: forbidden. Confusion turned to irritation, and irritation quickly turned to anger. The Empire had encountered resistance before, but never from a world so technologically primitive, at least by their standards. Earth was not a major military power, nor did it have interstellar fleets. It was an isolated planet, a blue sphere floating in the dark, unaware of the countless empires and conflicts beyond its sky. And yet, it had the audacity to reject the most powerful force in the known universe. The Council immediately dispatched a diplomatic envoy, a fleet of unarmed ships carrying representatives skilled in persuasion. Their job was to understand why Earth was being so defiant and, if necessary, convince its leaders to change their minds. As the fleet approached Earth's orbit, something strange happened. One by one, the ships vanished. There were no distress signals, no explosions, no signs of an attack, just empty space where the ships had been moments before. The Empire's command center on the capital world received no explanation, only silence. The Council, now unsettled, assumed Earth had somehow managed to destroy the ships, though they had no idea how. Still, they refused to believe that a planet with such limited technology could pose a real threat. Determined to put an end to Earth's defiance, the Empire sent a reconnaissance team, 3 advanced stealth ships equipped with the best cloaking technology in the galaxy. Their mission was to gather intelligence, scan Earth's defenses, and uncover the truth behind the missing envoy. They were confident that, unlike the diplomatic fleet, they would remain undetected. They were wrong. The 3 ships entered Earth's orbit undisturbed. Scanners showed nothing unusual. No planetary shields, no advanced weapons, no signs of a hidden fleet. And then, all 3 ships simply stopped. Their engines, their communication systems, their life support, everything shut down. One of the pilots, struggling to regain control, managed to send a final message back to the Empire before his ship was swallowed by the void. We were never alone. They let us think we were in control. We are not. Then, silence once again. Panic spread through the Empire like wildfire. How was Earth doing this? What hidden power did this seemingly insignificant world possess? The Council, now desperate for answers, ordered a full-scale invasion. A fleet of warships, carrying thousands of heavily armed soldiers, was sent to Earth. This was no longer about diplomacy. It was about showing the galaxy that the Empire would not tolerate defiance. They would make an example of Earth. As the fleet approached, a message suddenly appeared on every ship's control panel. It was not in the Empire's language, yet somehow every soldier, every commander understood it perfectly. Turn back. This is your final warning. The Grand Admiral, leading the fleet, dismissed it as a bluff. The Empire did not retreat. They moved forward. The first warship crossed into Earth's atmosphere, weapons locked and ready. And then nothing. The ship was gone. No explosion. No wreckage. Just empty air. The second ship followed, and it too vanished. One by one, the fleet disappeared, as if it had never existed. The few ships that remained turned and fled, their crews too terrified to continue. The Empire had faced countless enemies before, but nothing like this. This was not a battle. This was something else entirely. For the first time in its history, the Empire felt fear. Not just fear of losing, but fear of the unknown. What was Earth? Who were the humans? And, most importantly, what else were they hiding? The Galactic Empire had ruled over thousands of worlds, crushing rebellions, absorbing civilizations, and expanding its reach without challenge. No planet had ever refused them, not for long, at least. So when Earth declared itself off-limits, the Empire was amused at first. A small, isolated planet in a backwater system dared to reject them? It was laughable. No one refused the Empire and remained free. They sent a diplomatic fleet to demand Earth's surrender, expecting either submission or weak resistance. But then, something strange happened. The entire fleet vanished without a trace. No distress signals, no wreckage, just silence. At first, the Council assumed it was a technical failure. Perhaps a wormhole had swallowed the ships, or they had suffered a catastrophic malfunction. But deep inside, there was an unease that no one wanted to acknowledge. To lose one ship was misfortune. To lose an entire fleet without explanation, that was something else. A reconnaissance mission was immediately ordered. This time, they sent their best stealth ships, equipped with advanced cloaking and detection systems. These ships were designed to spy on enemy forces without ever being seen. If Earth was hiding something, they would find out. The 3 reconnaissance ships approached Earth under the cover of darkness, their sensors scanning every inch of the planet. But something was wrong. The readings were empty. No advanced defenses, no planetary shields, no hidden warships. It was as if Earth was just another primitive world. And yet, the first fleet had disappeared. As the scouts moved in closer, one of the pilots spoke through the comms, his voice uneasy. "I don't like this. It feels wrong." There was no response. The other ships had gone silent. Then, the pilot's controls flickered. His ship was shutting down. Every system, life support, weapons, navigation simply turned off. A cold sensation crawled up his spine as he realized he was no longer in control. The last thing he saw before darkness consumed him was the vast emptiness of space and the planet below, staring back at him like a predator waiting for its prey. When the reconnaissance fleet failed to report back, panic spread through the Empire. This was no longer a misunderstanding. Earth was not just refusing them, it was removing them. But how? There had been no battle, no sign of an attack. It was as if the planet itself was swallowing anything that came near. The Council debated their next move. Some suggested abandoning Earth altogether, declaring it cursed and leaving it to the darkness. But that was not the Empire's way. No mystery was left unsolved. No defiance was left unpunished. If Earth was playing a game, the Empire would end it. A war fleet was assembled, larger and stronger than anything Earth could possibly withstand. The admiral in charge was given one order: find out what happened. Destroy them if necessary. As the fleet approached Earth, tension filled the air. Every soldier, every officer had heard the stories. Ships disappearing without explanation. No distress calls, no wreckage. Just nothing. But they were the Empire. They did not fear the unknown. They would conquer it.ase. The first warship entered Earth's orbit. A strange signal appeared on the fleet's communication channels. It was not in any known language, yet every crew member understood its meaning. "You should not be here." The admiral scoffed. "Idle threats," he muttered, ordering the ships to proceed. Then, without warning, the lead warship flickered and was gone. No explosion. No debris. Just empty space where it had been a moment before. The officers on the command bridge stared in shock. This was impossible. Warships did not just disappear. Before they could react, another ship vanished. Then another. One by one, the mighty fleet was being erased from existence. Panic set in. Soldiers screamed over the comms, demanding to know what was happening. The admiral, his confidence now shattered, shouted orders for the remaining ships to retreat. But it was too late. Whatever force was at work had already decided their fate. The last transmission received from the fleet was a single chilling whisper: "It's watching us." Then, silence. When news of the disaster reached the Empire, fear gripped even the most powerful leaders. They had sent hundreds of ships, thousands of soldiers, and not a single one had returned. What was Earth hiding? What force protected this planet so completely that even the Empire's greatest warships could do nothing? The Council debated sending another fleet, an even larger one, but deep down, they all knew the truth. It wouldn't matter. Earth was different. Earth was something else entirely. And so, for the first time in its history, the Empire chose to walk away. The planet was marked as off-limits, a place of silence, a world where those who entered never returned. The galaxy, once so. And Earth? Earth remained silent, watching, waiting, untouched. The Galactic Empire had conquered countless worlds, spreading its rule across the stars like an unstoppable storm. Every civilization they encountered either bent the knee or was erased from existence. No species had ever stood against them for long. So when Earth refused their offer of submission, the Empire did what it always did. It sent warships. They had heard the rumors, of course. Ships that approached Earth never returned. Fleets vanished into the void, leaving nothing behind but silence. But the Empire did not fear the unknown. It controlled the unknown. And if Earth thought it could defy them, then it would learn the price of defiance. A fleet of 50 warships entered the solar system, their weapons fully charged, their shields raised. This was not a negotiation. This was a demonstration of power. Earth would either surrender or be destroyed. As the fleet moved closer, the officers on the command bridge watched their monitors carefully. There were no planetary defenses visible, no warships rising to meet them. The planet appeared completely vulnerable. It made no sense. If Earth had somehow wiped out the previous fleets, why was there no sign of advanced technology? No hidden weapons? No energy signatures that could explain the disappearances? The admiral leading the fleet frowned. Something was wrong. Then, without warning, every ship's communication system crackled to life. A message, spoken in a voice that was neither human nor machine, echoed through the fleet. Final warning. Leave now or disappear forever. The words sent a chill through the crew. The message was not a threat, it was a statement. A fact. The admiral clenched his jaw. Ignore it, he ordered. Proceed with the attack. The first warship fired, launching a barrage of plasma missiles towards the planet's surface. But the moment the missiles crossed into Earth's atmosphere, they vanished. Not exploded. Not deflected. Simply gone. The weapons officers stared in shock. That was impossible. There had been no interference, no energy signatures, nothing. It was as if the missiles had never existed. Before anyone could react, the warship that had fired the first shot flickered and then disappeared. The bridge crew gasped. The massive ship, one of the most powerful vessels in the fleet, was simply gone. No explosion. No debris. Just empty space where it had been a moment ago. Panic spread through the fleet. The admiral shouted for a retreat, but the second warship was already vanishing. Then a third. One by one, the Empire's mighty fleet was being erased from reality. The soldiers screamed into their headsets, desperately trying to understand what was happening. Some fired their weapons wildly in every direction, but nothing stopped it. No alarms, no signs of an attack, just the slow, inevitable erasure of everything they knew. On the last remaining warship, the admiral's hands trembled as he watched his fleet disappear before his eyes. His voice was barely a whisper now. What? What is doing this? His officers had no answer. The ship's scanners detected nothing. No enemies. No weapons. No signs of life from Earth. And yet, something was there. Watching. Waiting. Deciding. A final message appeared on their screens, written in glowing, unreadable symbols. And yet, somehow, they understood its meaning. You were warned. The last warship did not get a chance to run. When the Empire received no response from their fleet, they knew. Another fleet gone. More ships lost to the silent world that refused to bow. The council members sat in silence, their faces pale, their arrogance shattered. The Empire had ruled for centuries, believing itself to be invincible. But now they had found something beyond their control. A force they could not see, could not fight, could not understand. And for the first time in history, the Empire chose to surrender not by war, not by negotiation, but by fear. Earth was marked as off-limits, its name whispered only in hushed tones among the stars. No more fleets were sent. No more attempts were made. The planet was left alone, a forbidden world that no one dared approach. The galaxy did not know what Earth truly was. It did not know who or what protected it. And Earth? Earth remained silent, untouched, waiting for the next foolish empire to test its patience. The Galactic Empire had ruled the stars for centuries, expanding its reach to every corner of known space. Thousands of worlds had fallen under its control, their people absorbed into the vast machine of conquest. No civilization had ever stopped the Empire's advance. But then came Earth, a small, isolated planet on the edge of the galaxy, a world that should have been easy to conquer. Yet, for reasons no one understood, every fleet sent to Earth had disappeared. No distress signals. No wreckage. Just silence. At first, the Empire dismissed it as a coincidence, an anomaly. But as more ships were lost, concern turned to fear. Something was wrong with Earth. Something powerful. The Supreme Council, desperate for answers, assembled a final fleet, its most advanced warships, carrying the best scientists and tacticians. Their mission was not just to conquer Earth, but to understand it. To find out what force was hiding beneath its surface. As the fleet entered the solar system, the officers on the command bridge watched Earth grow larger on their screens. It looked ordinary. Blue oceans, green continents, white clouds drifting lazily in the atmosphere. There were no planetary defenses, no hidden warships, nothing that could explain the disappearances. And yet, the crew could feel it, an unshakable sense of being watched. It was as if the planet itself was aware of their presence. Then, without warning, the fleet's communication systems crackled to life. A voice, deep and unreadable, spoke directly into their minds. "You are not welcome here." The words carried no emotion, no threat. Just a simple statement of fact. The fleet's commander, a hardened veteran of countless wars, scoffed. "Idle warnings will not stop us," he muttered, ordering the ships to advance. But as the fleet moved closer, something impossible happened. The stars shifted. The entire universe seemed to bend and twist around them. Instruments went haywire, gravity fluctuated, and time itself felt wrong. The crew struggled to make sense of the readings, but there was no logical explanation. This was not technology. This was something else. One of the warships vanished. No explosion. No trace. It was simply gone. Then another. And another. The fleet, the most powerful armada ever assembled, was being erased from existence. Panic spread through the ships as officers shouted into their headsets, demanding to know what was happening. But there was no enemy to fight. No weapons to dodge. Just the silent, inevitable disappearance of everything they knew. Then, the commander's screen flickered, revealing something that made his blood run cold. A single image, a human face, staring back at him. But it was not a normal face. The eyes were deep, endless voids, reflecting the vastness of the cosmos itself. And then he understood. Earth was not just a planet. It was a prison, a containment field for something ancient, something beyond time. The truth hit him like a shockwave. Humanity was never meant to leave Earth. They were not an isolated civilization because of technological limitations. They were isolated by design. Something had locked them away, sealed them within the boundaries of their world. And the moment outsiders tried to interfere, that force, whatever it was, acted without mercy. The last remaining ships attempted to flee, their engines roaring as they tried to escape. But it was too late. The force around Earth had already decided their fate. The commander's final words, sent out in a desperate transmission, would be the only thing the Empire ever received from the doomed fleet. "We were wrong. They are not the ones in danger. We are." When the message reached the Supreme Council, silence filled the chamber. The greatest empire in the galaxy had finally encountered something it could not conquer. Not an enemy, not a weapon, but a truth too vast to comprehend. Earth was not just another world. It was something more. And from that day forward, no ship dared approach it again. The planet remained untouched, a silent enigma in the void. Humanity, unaware of the power that protected them, continued their lives as if nothing had happened. But out in the galaxy, whispers spread. The most feared empire in history had met its match, not in war, not in diplomacy, but in the terrifying reality of what Earth truly was. And the universe would never be the same again. The Galactic Empire had spread its rule across the stars, subduing planet after planet, crushing any who dared resist. It was an unstoppable force, the might of the Empire crushing rebellions with ease. No world had ever stood against its will. But then came Earth, an insignificant, primitive world that dared to reject the Empire's demands. At first, the Empire thought little of it. A small planet, barely advanced enough to even defend itself, turning down the Empire's generous offer to join their galactic network. They sent a fleet to Earth, confident that its submission was inevitable. But when the fleet arrived, something strange happened. The ships never returned. Not a single one. The Empire dismissed it as an accident, a fluke, something that could be easily explained away. Another fleet was sent, and then another. And each time, Earth's skies remained empty. The warships, the most advanced the Empire had ever built, simply vanished. No explosions. No distress signals. No wreckage. Just the cold emptiness of space, where the ships had once been. Now, the Empire was growing uneasy. For the first time, it realized that Earth was not a world to be underestimated. Desperation took hold as the Supreme Council convened. They could not allow this small planet to keep defying their power. A final, unstoppable fleet was dispatched, larger than any before, carrying thousands of soldiers and the most advanced weapons the Empire could muster. This time, Earth would fall. The fleet approached Earth with military precision, its ships ready for battle. As they entered the solar system, the commanders watched the planet grow larger in their view screens. The blue oceans, the green lands, the swirling white clouds, nothing appeared unusual. There were no defenses visible, no signs of any preparation for war. Yet, an unsettling feeling crept over the crew. They could not shake the feeling that something was wrong. Something was waiting for them. Then, the first message arrived, transmitted directly to the command ship. The voice was calm, almost serene, but it carried an undeniable weight of power. Leave now or never leave again. The message sent a shiver through the crew. This was not a warning. This was a command. And it was spoken as if the speaker knew they could not be disobeyed. The fleet's commander hesitated, staring at the screen, his heart pounding. His pride, his years of military service, all told him to ignore the message. They were the Empire, the most powerful force in the galaxy. They had never backed down from a challenge. "Prepare for attack," he ordered. The command was given, and the fleet surged forward, weapons charged, ready to strike. But just as they approached Earth's orbit, something impossible happened. The stars around them twisted. The fabric of space itself seemed to bend and ripple. The warship's navigation systems failed. Gravity fluctuated wildly, and time itself began to warp. The fleet's commanders struggled to maintain control, but nothing worked. It was as if they had crossed into another realm, one where their technology no longer functioned. The first warship, a massive vessel, suddenly vanished. No explosion, no noise, just empty space where it had been. The officers on the remaining ships watched in horror as their friend, their comrades, simply ceased to exist. Panic spread like wildfire. How? Why? Then, without warning, the second warship followed. Then, the third. One by one, the fleet's ships disappeared, swallowed by something the Empire could not understand. The remaining ships, now in full retreat, tried to flee, but the force, whatever it was, had already decided their fate. The command ship was the last to go. The Admiral's final transmission, a desperate cry for mercy, was the last signal sent to the galaxy. We were wrong. Earth is not a primitive world. It is something more. And we are nothing. When the news reached the Supreme Council, there was a stunned silence. The fleet, the most powerful military force ever assembled by the Empire, had been wiped out without a single shot being fired in return. The Empire had never faced such a defeat. They had fought wars against powerful civilizations, but they had never encountered this. Something on Earth had destroyed their fleet, something that the Empire could not fight. The Council debated what to do next, but deep down, they knew the truth. The Empire had met its end. Earth had revealed a power that no one could defeat. Not an army, not a fleet, not even the Empire itself. It wasn't just that Earth had rejected them, Earth had shown them that they were not the rulers of the galaxy. Something far greater, something ancient and beyond comprehension, was hidden within that small world. The galaxy would never be the same again. The Empire, once so confident in its dominance, retreated into itself, avoiding Earth like a forbidden world. Whispers of what had happened spread throughout the galaxy. No one truly understood what had destroyed the Empire's fleet, but the message was clear: do not mess with Earth. And so, Earth remained quiet, still waiting. The power within it remained a secret, one that no one would dare to uncover again. The Empire was no more, and the galaxy, once ruled by fear and domination, now trembled before a world that had proven something far more terrifying, that sometimes the greatest power is the one that stays hidden.